in for another adventure, an evening of intrigue and storytelling and trying to piece together the the direction and flow of the news. Let me get the chats going. I have my microphone already hooked up, and I finished my coffee. Brian's great coffee. Hey, Benjamin. Yeah, we're going live. We've been working on the project all day. We've been mostly working in the garden. I got it completely surrounded, about maybe 2.5 feet high around. Now we just have to level the dirt inside, and then we'll be planting our trees. So we're very excited. Hey, Andrew D. Smith. Things are happening in an amazing way. We saw a Trump, like a press conference, I guess, and he was talking about mining and all kinds of special, like that mining is a security issue. Hey, Sherry. Yeah, and also I just want to say that, like, with the LifeWave thing, I still have my patch. This is glutathione, which supposedly is very good for people with autism. So just keep that in mind. That they say glutathione, Eon, X49, and X39 is good for autism. Thanks, Jeremy, my brother too. Jeremy the Jungle, like that. Jimmy Hazel Baker, hello from Ohio. Tammy, I'm sorry, Tammy Hazel Baker. Hey, what's going on in Ohio? That the weather was absolutely glorious today, and Danielle and I figured out a relatively painless way to put in the next big beam. We did it in last time. It took me all week. I had all these winches and pulleys and everything. And today we just put it in about maybe 2 hours, an hour and a half. Brother Ellie with the See Your Man, Dave Russell. Yeah, man. I mean, but the thing that I want to mention about the LifeWave patches is that it's cold. Yeah, it's been a while here from Ohio. Also, nice. Richard Pitzer, nice. Grandma Linda, Icewave patch worked. Another miracle for me yesterday. That's beautiful. Have you tried the Eon patch, Grandma Linda? Because it's also very good for inflammation and pain. I've never actually used Icewave. I've never, thank God, been in that kind of pain. But I have used the Eon, and the Eon is amazing. I mean, I'm just these patches are amazing. I'm just gonna. I guess I'll just end up talking about this for a little bit. But I I work all day long out there. I was again with a pickaxe for like 2 hours, not 4 hours, but I was out there with a pickaxe. I'm learning to let the tool do the work. That's part of my learning curve, because I'm a I'm aggressively anxious in some ways, but I just love working the land and under no pressure from, you have to finish, and you gave me a quote of 3 hours. In other words, there's no, the business is a bigger picture. I'm really, at this point, I'm really developing a piece of a real estate. I'm a real estate developer, and it's granted, it's not big bucks. I'm not a, but it's such a joy digging out there in Pittsburgh. Still digging out here in Pittsburgh. Cool. Yeah, we do everything by hand. I mean, I could get machines if I had the money. I guess I don't even know if I would at this point. Danielle and I lifted a 17-foot beam today using just a scaffold, no ropes. We just basically put it into place and bolted it in. Hopefully it'll stay up forever. but we're really working on beginning the second floor of our dwelling, which is so exciting because the view up there is stunning. It's just, and I want to broadcast from up there. I want to have my little office, my little studio. I can't tell you how much I've been wanting to. I've I have a very nice camera, but I can't set it up in here. It's just too much work. I had a bad neck and headache. I tried working it out first and gave up. Patch worked in minutes. I know they are amazing. I don't know why more people don't get it. Let me just put. I'm going to put up this information because this is quick and easy. Yeah. Let's see. Uh, Gosh, maybe I don't have it so quick and easy. I thought I did. No. Um, yeah. Just quick and easy, man. I mean, just go to my website, get some X39, get some X49, get some Eon, get some glutathione. I'm working on a story now. You can call Dr. Stacy. You can text Dr. Stacy. It'll take you 3 minutes. It's very easy. And when she will sign you up under me. So I do receive the benefit of you calling Dr. Stacy. She works with me. We are partners in this, and she's going to have a program tomorrow, Tuesday at it's at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. So that's 1:30 Mountain Time. But better than Motrin. Yeah, it is hard to understand. I mean, and most people don't get it. When I tell people, you put on these patches and you get younger, they're just like, I don't know what you're talking about. You have to take a pill to get fixed. That's the whole mentality. We're just learning so much about these things. But the Eon patch, the X39, I'm out there doing amazing things. I do remember to bend at the knee whenever I lift anything, but sometimes under pressure I forget. And X39, I don't experience pain, but I use X39, X49 every day, and then I add other patches to it. Alavita among them. I'm using Alavita during the day, but if you haven't tried these patches, you could just go to my website. You could call Dr. Stacy. Either way, it's real simple and easy, and I'm just having amazing results. Like I said, I was not able to stand on one foot a couple of years ago when I was older. I was so much older then. I'm younger than that now. And it just you can do stuff. I mean, I'm going to be 71 in like a week or two, and I'm out there with a pickaxe, man. I mean, I surprise myself. Age has no meaning. It's just a number. I mean, like my mom, my sister goes, "Don't go out. It's cold outside." And Mom's like, "I gotta go I'm going to the grocery store." She gets in her car and she drives away. It's just like just because she's 95 doesn't mean anything. It's just a number. They brainwash us into thinking that you have to decline with age, but I think it's just the opposite. So, if you haven't tried the any of the LifeWave patches, I invite you to try them at least. I like to tell people to become a brand partner so you can get better discounts. But if you're skeptical and you're worried and you don't feel like you want to spend the money and all that stuff, which is fine, I go through that also. You can just order some X39 and try it. See how it goes. I don't, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. It's just people aren't used to things that actually work that are good for you. They expect side effects, and rightfully so, because the medical community has let us down, has scammed us, has actively tried to depopulate us with the vaccine holocaust, and now they're trying with the chemtrails. But I was telling I was doing an interview with Dave this afternoon, but I was telling Dave that I think this whole chemtrail thing is a timeline, represents a timeline shift, meaning that with the vaccine holocaust, we all just volunteered. It's like, oh, it's my doctor. Like in my community, he's religious. My doctor's religious. I'm like, really? That's all you need to hear? That he's religious. So, like I had this friend who was having like triple bypass surgery because he got vaxxed to the max, and he just it's beyond, listen, it's beyond a human being to understand that 8 million kids go missing every year. 8 million. That's more than the Yiddish Holocaust. 6 million people one died in one event. This is every year. 8 million kids. I mean, how do you understand that? Or and all the, it if you see the movie Flight Log, which I highly recommend, Flight Plan, Flight Plan, you will see they're all in on it. They're like, you're kid missing. You're insane. There was no kid here. These people, I mean, but I think the chemtrail thing is the sky event that eventually people will start to pay attention to their world that's being destroyed by these creepazoid parasites who, I don't know. Is life of value to them? They're Satanists. They worship death. That's what they're all about. So, I mean, you see with the Epstein files, we're looking at it with Bitcoin. Bitcoin was designed by Jeffrey Epstein and these creepazoid parasites to hide child trafficking profits. It wasn't like this is, like some Japanese guy invented it in his basement to free the world. It was just the opposite. This is a coin based on tyrannical principles and Satanism. I was really expecting today. I thought, well, President Trump is having a crypto thing today, and then the price of XRP will go to the moon. It will. It has to. In the real world, in the divine world, in the republic. The republic, the idea of the republic is that we live in a divinely inspired state of existence where the rules won't be convoluted, where the rules won't be designed to extort cash from your bank account. The rules will be godly. It'll be brotherly love. It'll be peace on earth. I don't know why people have a hard time with the republic. It's a divinely inspired contract that was in effect with the original launching of the United States of America, or the United States for America. I don't know, but hey Royce, it's it's just okay. So yeah. So call Doctor Stacey. Get with the program, man. Eon reduces inflammation both mentally and physically. I don't know about the life wave. Grandma Linda likes I'm sorry, the ice wave. We keep some ice wave. You like Daniela likes Eon better, Linda. So she's very sensitive to these things. But people should have a package of Ice Wave or Eon in their medicine cabinet. These patches, for me anyway, if I'm in severe pain and I put on a patch, the pain basically goes away. So why would you take Tylenol that's going to destroy your liver? It's just people are so conditioned. We have been so over conditioned by this pedophilia mob, these gangsters, these murderers. 8 million kids a year. It's how do you even I don't know what that means. What does that mean? I could see one, I could see 5 kids go missing. Where's the outrage? I don't know. I don't know. But now that the Epstein things are coming out, and apparently they've been tampered with. I mean, I'm hearing all kinds of weird stuff. That's just, we're at war right now. It's hard for me to understand that because I identify more with like the Derek Johnson mode of perception, that it's a military operation. There are going to be ups and downs, but it's a movie. That's really what I believe in my heart of heart. But most of humanity does not understand that. They're still involved with the events that seem to be taking place. Let me just take off this caption. But yeah, I invite you, just call Dr. Stacy or just sign up. Just go to lifewave.com/Kabbalah Guru and order some X39. If you don't want to become a brand partner right away, I understand. Try the X39. Next time you're in pain, put one of these patches on your spine. That's where I put my X39 because I'm exercising my back all day long in my 70s. I'm I'm out there doing heavy duty digging and lifting, and I love it. I love being young again. It you don't have to, well, is it really going to work for me? Is it worth the money? I mean, what is your health? What is worth money? What is more worth money than your health? So listen, I'm also very, I'm very I do get scared about money because we don't have tons of it. We should have if XRP would ever go to the moon, which I think it will. But for years, I was like with Danielle, I was like, well, let's just see if we can afford the patches this month. Now I'm just the opposite. I'm like, as soon as we get our check, our social security check or our pension check, I say, let's buy some, let's make sure we have at least X39 and X49 for the month. It's two of us, so it costs a little more, but it's the first thing I reach to. That and to have some meat in my freezer. Those are the most important things for us. We also buy I also buy fruit and vegetables, but even that I'm hoping to just grow my own soon by working on my garden. But anyway, so we invite you to join in this incredible technology. It's just amazing. I wouldn't I wasn't really gung ho 100% for the last couple years on these patches, but I didn't realize how much, and it took time. It took me really 3 years. Suddenly I was like, wait a minute, I'm not napping. I can stand on one foot now. I'm working all day with shovels and pickaxes, and my back is fine. I'm lifting up humongous amounts of weight. I'm a little dude, man. I mean, I'm picking up like big stuff, all day long, dragging 16-foot thick boards, across the my property and stuff. Well, not across the property, across the place where we live. But it's a joy just to be in this world and to be healthy and to have enough. We have enough. So Australia, man, I know they were messy down there. Hey, Royce. Yeah. 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 Try the Eon, Grandma Linda. The Ice Wave is the only patch that they have that doesn't deal. Listen to this. Doesn't deal with source problems. These patches go to the source. They create stem cells. The stem cells go to the source of the illness. In the Rockefeller medicine system, they don't deal with cures. They deal with symptoms, stopping a symptom with something like Tylenol that may have side effects like destroying your liver, or worse, or making children autistic. I'm, I I've been channeling Zev Zelenko. Zev Zelenko was a doctor. He was in my community. I went to yeshiva with him for a short amount of time, but he was, he started this whole thing with the he had with I forget what is it, vitamin B, or anyway, he came up with something to help people with COVID, and then he subsequently passed away shortly after that. He was very sick. He had lost a lung. He was a heavy smoker. I don't know if it was the smoking. I don't know. I don't know if they poisoned him, but he was a force for real healing, and he was ostracized by the Orthodox community. They gave him a hard time. Everybody gave Zev a hard time, but he was relentless of calling out. He didn't. To my knowledge, he didn't know about Q, but he knew that this was a Satanist regime, like Putin knows. Putin is constantly coming out and saying these are a bunch of Satanists. Let me get rid of the caption. But yeah, I invite you to get a hold of Dr. Stacy and or call Daniela if you want to call Daniela. She's really good at this. She's getting better. She'll sign you up. I like it when people call us because I get to talk to people that I'm on. People call me and say I've been watching you online for years, and I'm like, well, it's so nice to talk to you. I get to hang out with peeps when you call Daniela. So that's the advantage of that. I enjoy that because I don't get to see your faces. I feel like I feel the love, but I'm constantly amazed that people say, I've been listening to you for years, but I never post on the chat. But how are you? And I'm like, wow, man, that's so it's amazing. I can also stand on one foot. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I know it's amazing because I wasn't able to do that. Derek has amazing insight. Yeah, he's a little bit harsh. I find him a little harsh and a little self-righteous, but he's got the goods, man. He's like he's on the money. Yeah, I would try it. I would definitely try it. Um, you like to Dina here, been following you since New York days. I love my LifeWave. I need to get back to them. Nice to see you smiling a lot these days. Yeah, thanks, D Cassidy. I appreciate it. Yeah. So anyway, get with the patches, man. They're amazing. I listen. I had a bunch of different network marketing things, and the patches just they work. So, and if you want to ask Dr. Stacy questions online, you can come to our channel tomorrow at 1:30. No, I'm sorry, 3:30 Eastern Standard Time, 1:30 Mountain Time, and she's there for a half hour every week. She's amazing. She's just amazing. She has classes online, and she's got a zillion videos. She had a challenged daughter who was helped, who became verbal after using the patches. So she's been on the wagon on the bandwagon ever since. Hard to listen to Derek, right? Right. Yeah. If you're into that, I mean, it's good to check in with Derek every now and then and have him yell at you a little bit, right? It doesn't hurt because I think he's seeing things as they really are. This is a war. The creeps, they haven't given up yet. This is what I'm trying to understand this myself because I there's some people online that I go in the thought stream that are like the QFS is online. It's been online for months. It's just you just have to. And by the way, do not sign up for the QFS. That is a scam. And also, if anybody reaches out and says it's me, that's a scam. If anybody calls from Coinbase, that's a scam. I saw an article today that a woman who lost something like um 96,000, was it $960,000 was scammed. They returned it to her. So there's hope that the FBI will do the right thing. I'm sure they know it was a one transfer deal. They must know who's responsible for it. They could get my XRP back. I'm thinking like, wow, why not, man? It happened for her. It could happen for me. I'd love to get my XRP back. I worked my ass off to collect all that XRP, and then somebody because of Coinbase, and I don't trust the political leanings of Coinbase because they made it impossible for us to hold XRP without going nuts. They're like, we're delisting it. You can't trade it. I'm like, why? Why? Because they were going to Epstein Island, probably because they're pedophiles, because they're in line with this whole bankster cadre. That's why they do it. So I don't know. I'm just saying that I'd love to get my XRP back. If you're listening, if the White Hats are listening, man, I lost 300,000 XRP coins. It was scammed out of me because I was scared because Coinbase delisted it, and and somebody contacted me pretending to be a friend of mine and said, "You got to get it off the platform it's on. You have to get it into this platform." So it was transferred from a platform to another platform, and then then they wanted, then I was like, I want my money back. And they're like, well, you have to pay us more money. It was a scam. It was like one of those scams, but I thought it was a friend of mine. That's why I'm constantly reminding people not to do it. Anyway, yeah, 300,000 XRP is worth a lot more now than it was then. I mean, I got it for relatively cheap compared to what it is now. But can you please teach us how to rob PayPal for 10K and drive a Jeep for free? You rock, brother. Yeah, stick it to the man. I hope you're saying that serious. Oh, it's Chucky Ellie. That sounds like you sound like a scam, but yeah, how do you do it, man? I'll tell you how you do it. Um, it's you have to understand. Uh, you have to understand um, that. I mean, think of it this way: how do you how do you Okay, I have a thing online that'll clear this up. I think I bookmarked this. Let me just share this. Let's go here. Okay, the storm, right? This is beautiful. The mountain you're standing on. Maybe the resistance you feel isn't a punishment or a delay. Maybe it's placement. Some paths aren't meant to be easy because ease doesn't teach strength, clarity, or trust. We don't stand in these moments by accident. We stand here because something in us is steady enough to hold the weight. Every challenge carries instruction. Every obstacle reveals what's already alive inside of you. The mountain doesn't move because it's asking you to rise. You see farther, to become someone others can recognize as possible. You don't need to force it, just keep showing up. Presence moves more than pressure ever will. Maybe you weren't meant to escape this mountain. Maybe you were meant to stand on it. Okay, so that was that. This is the post I wanted to show. This is okay. This is my answer to. This is my answer to Chucky. It was Chucky Ellie. That was probably a troll. But how do you surrender to the matrix? How it feels to return to your 9 to 5 after discovering the entire system is a CIA psyop and that we are ruled by satanic pedophiles that eat babies and I still have to pay taxes. This is how it feels. Look at let me read that again. How it feels to return to your 9 to 5 after discovering the entire system is a CIA psyop and that we are ruled by satanic pedophiles that eat babies and still I have to pay taxes. This is how it feels, okay? Okay, so you get the point. So as the narrative falls apart, it doesn't arrive with honesty. It shows up as louder voices, sharper words, and escalating aggression. This is what fear looks like when it's losing its grip. You don't meet it head on. You don't feed it. You stand steady. You stay steady. Holding the line isn't about fighting people or proving a point. It's about staying grounded in who you are while the pressure rises. Calm over chaos, presence over reaction, integrity over ego. Your children are watching you move through moments like this. They learn how to stand when things feel unstable. Show them that real strength doesn't need to shout. It can be quiet, rooted, and unmovable. Breathe, stay present, hold the line. So that this Zachariah Fisher is I'm really enjoying his posts these days. But it doesn't require, you don't have to go out and convince the world. Some people just can't see it. I don't know how they can't, but some people just can't see it, and they don't believe it. They don't they don't they don't hold it in their heart. Where do you buy XRP then? I go through Coinbase, don't know. No, yeah, you could go to Uphold, but Coinbase is fine. I don't have a problem with Coinbase. I think they're a very good platform. I just don't agree with their politics because they were obviously in on this scam with Jay Clayton and Gary Gensler and the whole XRP, suing XRP. This was a grand scam. This is Grand Theft Auto times a million. This was people, appointed people, people that were in positions of power, lying to the world in order to make money off them. This is what this criminal enterprise is all about. They're stealing 8 million kids a year without us noticing it. You're still going to your job. You're still worried about paying your taxes. You're still worried that they're going to catch you doing something untoward, where they are killing children, eating children, drinking their blood, creating wars, spending your money on mansions. And we're all worried about, oh my gosh, what if I get in trouble? This is insanity. This is, how much longer will people be able to stay in the matrix? I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. So people are saying to me that I respect, well, I can't join the Republic because what if I lose my standing? What if they come after me? I'm like, are you kidding me? What is the point of being alive if you don't stand for what's right? You want, because you're a family person and you have a bunch of kids. What are you teaching your kids? Oh, well, it's not about me. I have to make a living. It's okay. I don't get it. I don't. I mean, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's a screw loose inside of my head. But how do you live a lie? How do you do it? Got my beautiful daughters and dogs, right? Where do you buy XRP? Yeah, I would go to Upheld, but there's nothing wrong with Coinbase. It's just a platform. However, politically, they are not aligned in from what I understand with the reality that okay, I don't know. I just deleted something because there was something. I hope if I deleted you, please don't take offense. I'm just trying to use this platform. I'm sure Millennia pressed floor 55 on the lift in her film 5.5. I didn't see the film, but sounds like you're talking about our old government. Right, the old government. But so many people, most of humanity still believes that that old government exists, and it seems to, but it's all a lie. Like that guy in the film going to his 9 to 5 job after finding out that the whole establishment is run by pedophiles who are stealing your money, making you sick, putting chemtrails in the sky, and we all just play along, man. It's like, okay, listen, I got a job to do, I got kids at home, and I have to do the right thing. I say we really would stand for something or fall for anything. Yeah. I'm spitting flames, but I don't think I'm a radical. I don't see this as, I mean, I grew up with radicals. I mean, I grew up I went to high school in 1968, and I remember like the head radical of the school. He was later turned into be a complete blithering idiot in my opinion. But at the time he was like spitting fire. I mean, he was unbelievable. Um but how do you play along with the matrix? I mean, you have your comforts, you have your house. I listen. I'd rather live in the Mojave Desert than live in than rent a place in Kingman. I just I would go nuts. It took us a year and a half to get well water. It's not easy out here, but what are the creature comforts worth if you're a slave, if you have to live like a slave? Well, everything is there for me. I don't know. I don't know. At what point do we leave the matrix? I don't know. I can't bear it. I can't live. I'm not able to live that level of deception. I can't look at myself in the mirror and go, but I did it. I did it for 20 years. I worked for the Department of Education, and they were after me every single day I went to work. I was my I was asked by people close to me, like, what happened today? Did they, what did they do to you today? Kind of thing. And every day I'd have to be like, well, they did this, but it's going to be okay. My union rep, what finally with the vax, there was no union rep. The union rep was like, hey man, you got to stop coming to work because you're not getting vaxxed. So where is the apology about that? Where's the apology from all the people who got vaxxed and forced other people to get vaxxed? Where's the apology from the medical world? Where's I mean, do we have to wait for them to get arrested, or could they do the right thing and say, God, we tried to kill you. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I'm not seeing that. Are you seeing that? Are you seeing your doctors like, gee, I'm so sorry I vaccinated you? I'm not getting that. The groceries, the chemtrails, the water, the fluoridated water, the fluorine in your toothpaste. Fluorine is a poison. Where does it end? At what point do we get off the train to Treblinka? At what point do we say, I know it's a nice day, but I don't feel like going to Auschwitz. I don't like being on a cattle train. I'm not going. You want to shoot me? I don't know. I don't know. Where do you cut the line? How much do we have to go through? With the chemtrails are just outrageous. They're in your face. So it's my opinion that this is a possible timeline shift, because just like people surrendered to the vaccine wholeheartedly, like, yeah, I gotta get the booster, man. But will they surrender to the insanity of witnessing chemtrails day after day and not be at least being a slightly bit outraged by it? They are poisoning the air. I'm going to have proof tomorrow. I have some information from a friend of mine. She tested her blood, and the chemtrails, they're in your blood. The poison is in your blood. This is not nothing. So will humanity wake up? Will we stop serving the beast, serving these satanic masters? Freedom, freedom is there for the offing. Is there for us, but we have to grab for it. We have to do something. We can't wait. Like me, I'm like, okay, the crypto. Trump's going to meet with the crypto thing. XRP will go to 100,000, 150,000. Bitcoin will go to zero. And it's just like they keep fighting back. They keep, like with the silver. Silver should be $1,000 an ounce, easy. I'm not worried about, like, people say, well, crypto, silver crashed. I don't care. I would buy it at any price, just like XRP. I bought XRP at 250. So what? It's a good investment because it makes sense. Things in the real world, in the Republic. I'm going to put out this thing for the Republic again, because I I'm having we're having a little bit of an issue about, yeah, it's like the Republic. Join the Republic. Go back. Let's go back to divine law, not this insanity. You got a fishing license, you got a license to have a license, you have to, get screw that, man. I want to live in God's world. I do up here. We live in God's world. If we got a problem, man, it's like there's nobody I can call up here. There's nobody I can say, Joe, could you come over here and help me fix my plumbing? It's like I gotta do it. I gotta deal with it. That's to me, that's real world. I traded freedom. I don't have any of the comforts. I thought to myself, well, why don't I just get a little apartment somewhere and we'll broadcast and we can focus on the broadcasting? It didn't work for me. I have to live my real life. And I'm delighted and I encourage everybody else to take action and join the Republic and start living a real life, not a life full of fear. What are they giving for all this fear, for all this surrender that you're giving to them? What are you getting back in return? We need big reparations for COVID. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I should be, they should give me millions of dollars for kicking me off my job. They kicked me off my job. They never apologized. They never explained. The teachers union was nowhere to be found. I would call them and they would say, too bad, you didn't get your vaccine, you lose your job. I mean, thank God I didn't lose my pension. But I wanted to work for another 5 years. That was my plan. And, I want my back pay, whatever. But will I get it? I think so. I'm not giving up, but it's not even about that. It's just about the idea of surrendering to the matrix. At what point do we stop? I don't know. And I'm certainly in no position to tell you, just quit your job and buy a place in the woods like I did. No, I can't say that to somebody else. That's your business. But to live in bizarro land where up is down, where you can go and you can get ripped off in 15 different ways. I saw this film about how when gangsters make more money, it's better for gangsters to be gangsters than to sell products honestly. And everything is rigged. Everything on Amazon is, it's all set up ahead of time. There's no at what that it pays to be a gangster. I think joining the Republic is the right thing to do. Now, I have people that will not join. That we were all set to go, but they're afraid that the deep state is going to attack them. I'm like, are you kidding me? You're gonna let that you're gonna be, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's chicken shit. I do. I mean, you're afraid of the deep state. The deep state is going down. The deep state is being arrested. Most of them probably. I mean, if you listen to Derek Johnson, most of them probably been arrested a long time ago. Is exposing all right now. Although Ali Carter was first. We need big reparations. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Stand for something or fall for anything. Draining the damn swamp. Yeah. Prayers for children worldwide. How do you rationalize living a normal life, going to a job, paying your car payments, paying your taxes? How do you justify that when 8 million kids go missing a year? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I'm just saying the question. How do you rationalize it? How do you perpetrate a society that's based on child trafficking and drug running and money laundering and stealing your money? How do you just go to your job like that guy in the video? I don't know. I can't. I mean, people have offered me, we need teachers who you could teach online and all this. I'm like, I'm not going to have any part of your stinking system. I'm not interested. I would rather be up here struggling struggling in a beautiful, loving way. This is the life. I'm living the life. I'm basically pretty much outside the matrix. I mean, I still have connections. I still get correspondence. They know my address of, whatever it is. And anyway, yeah, love Derek Johnson, right? Holy cow. 300 stolen, right? That's right, 550K today. But I have to. Oh, it's Chucky again. Yeah, I would be sick. Yeah, me too. Right, I would be sick too. But I'm not. I just figured that's what happens. Maybe I'll get it back. Maybe I won't. I don't care. It was a good lesson. It was a lesson that you can't you think somebody is you this was on Telegram, a big scam place. So I thought it was somebody I know pretty well telling me, Ellie, you got to get your XRP off the platform because so I did. And I put it on another platform. And then I filed with the FBI. The FBI, I never heard from the FBI. Will I ever get my money back? Well, maybe I will, because it was just a one shot thing. Everything is supposedly recorded on the blockchain. These people stole they wouldn't once they had it, they wouldn't give me access to it. That's called theft. Okay, so will the white hats retrieve my XRP? I don't know, but I'm not going to sit here and ruin my life over spilt milk. For me, it's just you just keep going. You just keep going, no matter what. Like with this platform, how many times have I been taken off of YouTube? I don't care. Is it worse for Jaco than me? I don't know. I don't know. I think it's worse for me because whatever. Anyway, but it doesn't matter. But the point is, I didn't know what I was going to talk about tonight, but I'm reacting to a situation that happened. We were about to, we were just about to start our the Republic in Mojave County, and one of the people backed out, and I'm just like, how could you back out? How can you think to yourself that's the right thing to do? I don't know. But he has responsibilities and all this other bullshit. But that is, who doesn't? I mean, if the creepazoids wanted to take us out, they will. They could. I'm not worried. I would still do what I'm doing. I wouldn't want to put Daniela in danger, but I don't think we're in danger because I think the creeps are going down. You can't justify. You can't live as a criminal. This is a holy place. How many people have been killed for coming up with inventions for like water driven cars? They get killed. People come out with cures for cancer. They get killed. People come out and talk about the deep state. But does that mean you shouldn't do this? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how people live with themselves. Look, it's a difficult situation either ways, but you don't have to get into. You don't. We're not fighting anyone. We just want to be left alone, like the Israelis. They're like they don't want to kill Arabs. They just want to be left alone. They don't want to have any problems. The real Israelis, not the government deep state. The government deep state just wants to make like the real Bibi Netanyahu, in my opinion, was deep state. I don't think he's alive anymore. But whatever. I don't want to get into that can of worms. It's fear programming, right? But at what point do we say enough? Because no one is coming to save you. No one is coming to liberate you. Liberate us. I mean, they are coming to liberate. No, let me not say, I don't want to say that. No, the White Hats are working hard. Everything is going together. Everything is working together. In my opinion, I agree with Derek. I think it's a military operation. However, at some point, I have to say to myself, do I want to really continue to live in the deep state, or do I want to try to make it work in another way? It's familiar. It's cushy to rent a place. I could live like a little mouse again and just, but I don't want to. Part of the way to what me and you and one got, yeah, got to have patience. The one that got to have the patience. I don't agree. I mean, I'm maybe I'm reading your note wrong, but part of the Great Awakening, me and you are the one that got to have the patience. I don't believe in having patience. I don't believe that. I don't believe in waiting for the government to do the right thing, in waiting for the white hats to hand us the victory that we've been waiting for. I don't believe that. I believe in taking action now. The very least you could join the republic. The very least you could start living your life instead of living like a mouse. This is a Holocaust. How many times when I was a kid I would hear about the Holocaust? I had Well, in those days we had people that fled Nazi Germany in our community. We had friends like that, and I was like, why didn't you leave a long time ago? It was inconceivable to me that somebody could be in that situation, but people choose comfort over divine law. I don't know. I'm talking a big game. I don't want people to go start quitting their jobs and say, "Well, Ellie told us to quit our jobs." I don't want you, but I want you to examine. I want of me. I need to continually examine: Am I living the life I really want to live on the planet? Do I feel good about the way I'm living? Am I all talk, or am I really trying to make a go of it? Um, So we are it. Yeah, we are the Great Awakening. I agree with that. I totally agree with it. But I think we have to stand for something. We can't just be. I mean, I listen. I lucked out that I was able to lose my job so easily, because given the pressures of having a pension and all that stuff, I wouldn't have just quit like that. I would have stayed with it. But when it came to a choice between, do you want to live a normal life? Do you want to get sick and die, or would you rather keep your job? It seemed clear to me that I would rather quit my job. I would rather keep my health and quit my job. But those are my priorities. There were a lot of people in my community. They were like, Ellie, I have to travel. I have to get vaccinated. I was like, I don't know. I don't see your point. I don't get it. And now looking back, I really don't get it. At the time I was thinking, well, he needs it for his livelihood. I mean, if you have to choose between your livelihood and staying alive, is that really a choice? And it's the same with the chemtrails, but I'm hoping that people will wake up this time. I don't know. It's fear programming. Yeah, it's for sure fear programming. But at what point do we walk away? Or do we just say, hey man, I just can't do it. I can't stop paying my car payment. I have to pay my car payment. I didn't pay my car payment because they never sent me a bill. I agreed to pay my payment, but they never got my address. They never sent me a bill. And then one day they repossessed my car, and I was like, okay, you know you guys lose, because the car is worth a lot less after I've been driving it around on the mountains for a good year. And you could have just you could have dealt with me. You could have tried to reach out to me. You could have. I called them. I said, "This is my address. Let's make a deal." But they didn't want to. So I'm like, and I didn't want to, because I don't want to pay this outrageous amount of money. I don't have it. So I walked away. My choice. I'm fine without it cheap. We're very blessed to have a good working truck that just hauled a bunch of lumber up onto the mountain again, and it was a amazing thing how we. I think that if you live in the world of divine providence, if you live in the world where you totally trust in creation to provide you with what you really need, that you won't. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not lack. That's King David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not lack. I'm talking about they're talking about the form of godliness that is above nature. The formless creation is my shepherd; I shall not lack. Not necessarily Elohim, and this is a very refined position that I'm, not something that people understand so easily. But the idea that in the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge and that was considered sinful does not compute to me. He says, well, they'll, if they eat from the tree of knowledge and then they eat from the tree of life, they'll be like us. They'll be gods just like us. I'm like, that does not sound like God to me. That sounds like El and Enki, Anoki. It doesn't make sense that a benevolent God would say, well, kick the fuckers out, man. They just ate from the tree of knowledge. This is sinful. Sinful to gain knowledge? Sinful to procreate? That's sinful? What kind of God is that? So the whole structure of all these things, the religion, the economy, the education, the medical community, the certainly the nutritional community. I mean, they're selling poison to you and your kids. Your kids are eating poison. Are we gonna obey these people endlessly? It's like, yeah, man, I got a job. I got to do stuff. Oh yeah, my kids are eating poison. Yeah, but it's okay because all the kids are eating poison. I'm like, it's not okay. It is not okay. And at what point do we make the big move? Now, I could get kicked off of YouTube tomorrow. They could say, that's too outrageous for me to say these things. But the evidence is there. The Epstein papers are out. I don't know if they've been redacted. I don't know if they've been changed. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Enough evidence is there for people to put together the real information here, which is that the world is run by a bunch of criminals, hardcore murderous criminals. Are you going to stay in that? Are you going to? I'm not saying violent revolution. I'm very against violence. We don't need violence. There are tons of us who have survived the Holocaust vaccine, and now all we have to do is just say no. I'm not paying taxes. I'm not playing. I'm out. I don't. You guys are a bunch of criminals. You're all in on it together. This is a. I'm out. I don't want to. I don't want to partake of this kind of insanity. I don't know. I mean, I guess this is more radical than my usual stuff, but it doesn't seem radical to me at all. They played with our Bible. I think so. I don't think it's considered complete, like, against the law in Orthodox Judaism to question one word of the Bible. Well, I question the whole story of Genesis. It sounds like bullshit to me. It sounds like this is how you enslave people. You make them feel shame. You make them feel like they're sinners. We are not sinners. We are godly. We are godly people and we live in a godly place. They've just covered it up real good. The Satanists are running, the thieves are running the store. So at what point do we stop complying? I don't know. Everyone has to ask their own self for that. But I thought I'd be using the television to educate these people. I thought they would be using the television to educate these people. Yeah, me too. Me too, but they're not. They're relying on the digital warriors, which is you and me. We're out here, and like Zachariah Fisher says, we don't have to convince anyone. We don't have to beat anyone up. We don't have to hit anyone on the head. But I'm frankly shocked when people just comply because they're afraid of. I mean, what kind of a life are you going to be leading if you comply with the creeps? Is that a life? I mean, I don't know. I wake up in the morning and I'm just like, hey, what do you, I asked Danielle, I said, what should we do today? Let's figure out what we want to do today. And I'm like, well, and I don't, like I said, I don't even think about it. I just go outside, and the next thing I know, I got my pickaxe in my hand and I'm slugging away to make a channel for the water line. And then I'm working on the garden, and I just surrounded the garden with these boards that I got at the sawmill. And then we raised a beam today to we have one more beam to go, and then I can start framing out the second floor of my house where I can have a film studio. I can broadcast, and you'll be able to see the mountains behind us. That's what I want. I could set up my camera and not have to. We live in a 8 by 20 room. I can't be setting up cameras and lights and everything in here and taking them up and down every day. I just don't have it for that. I'd rather, I'd rather build a new house, and in the new house, I'll have the space for that. The thieves are running the store, and the currency is our attention. Yeah, and yeah, watch the water. So listen, it's happening. XRP is going to go to the moon. I don't have 300,000 XRP anymore. I don't have anywhere near that. I have a fraction of that. But that's what I have. And if I have 100 XRP and it goes to 100,000, I don't know the math. I'm a math teacher, so I can't add. But I mean, it sounds like it's like you got $1 million. I mean, and how could it not? How could XRP not go to 125,000 if Bitcoin, a worthless asset created by Jeffrey Epstein for the boys, that does nothing, that's slow, that if that's worth that much money, how much more is XRP going to be worth? It's going to be worth $1 million a coin. It has to be, because the whole economic system is going to turn on XRP and XLM and the other handful of ISO 222 coins, in my opinion. Silver also, silver and gold. I don't own it. I don't have, I have a few coins, but I don't have what I used to have. Would I hesitate if I got a bunch of cash? If the Iranian dinar was revalued and I had a bunch of cash, I'd go buy silver that afternoon. I wouldn't keep the money in the bank. But yeah, the currency is going to change, and things of value are going to be things of value, and the ultimate value is your health, is your relationships, is your peace of mind, is your being in alignment with your actions, not like living one life and thinking about another. To be, where the rubber meets the road. And we all have to decide what that looks like for us. And I'm not pushing anyone to quit their job, but you should, we all have to think about these things. Does it make sense to go to would it make sense for me to go back to New York City and start to rechart a career in education at this point? Not really. Would it make sense to continue developing this land? And now I have a well. That took us a long time to get the well together, get the money for the well, and we're paying it off little by little. And we live in this kind of divine space where, I mean, I don't want to call it divine. I don't want to seem like I'm being, uh, like I'm being pompous or anything. But when I need something, it comes. Do I, and it doesn't come. Well, you want a new house? That's $100,000. You want windows? That's $30,000. Well, I got windows for a couple $100, maybe a little more. Okay, let's say I spend $1,000. I don't even have enough windows for all the to finish the house. But I got a good bunch of windows for 25 bucks a pop. I just got old sliding glass doors. That was, and I didn't like think, well, I'm gonna, I don't have to worry about. I don't have $30,000 to get these windows. Those windows would have sucked. They would have been little tiny windows that were very, that opened. I'm like, I don't want to live in a house where like I'm in this enclosed thing that is separate from the land, and I look out of these little windows and see the view, and I don't want to live. I want to feel like the land is inside it. The trees are inside my house, the trees are outside my house, the mountains are inside, outside. I don't want to feel like I'm separated from God. What I see is godliness as the divine world. And I was explaining to Dave today. I don't want to live in. I'm not interested in living a primitive life. I'm living like with nature, but I have Starlink. I have a refrigerator. I have a freezer. I have solar panels. I think you can live with nature with great technology. I think that's the balance. I think that's where the future is heading. I know Howard Rourke in The Fountainhead, the place he chose to live was his little vacation house that he had it like made. He designed it in a way that was. Listen, I don't know how. There was one statement I made a few days ago. I was talking about Ishmael Perez, and when I had a conversation with Ishmael Perez, I was asking him, what kind of houses are we going to live with? Because this is a big issue for me. Because I spent 20 years building things, and I know I care about building. I care about design. I care about humans living in places that make sense. So I asked Ishmael. I said, "Well, what are our houses going to look like?" And he was like, "Whatever you want." And it could change all the time. You could, and so that's what I mean. Is everything that I'm building going to just work out hunky dory? The fact that I don't want to have vapor barriers everywhere. I don't want to put the Velcro all over my house or whatever it is. The plastic, the fiberglass stuff in my. I don't want to have that in this house. Is my house going to rot? Well, if it does, I'll just replace it. But I personally believe that how is anything going to rot in the desert? It's hard to even get things to rust out here. The cars last forever out in Arizona. You got people driving around in trucks that are 30, 40 years old, and they look brand new because we don't have that kind of moisture here. But should I follow I went to Home Depot, and I told them, I said, I'm just going to put my boards into my foundation in with lag bolts. He's like, "Oh, you can't use lag bolts, they'll rot out." I'm like, well, how in the desert is it going to rot out? He says you have to use through bolts. It's If you know about building, through bolts won't rot out. I'm like, everything that we accept as normal is not. Everything has to be questioned. The food you eat, the air you breathe, the water you drink, the plastic containers that the water comes in could be lethal. They're trying to kill you and me at every turn, with the food, the water, with the pressure, with the fear. Fear could kill you too. Someone added, how many people killed in the Bible? It was over 1 million. Doesn't sound like God to me. Yeah, I, I agree. I have to agree with that. It doesn't sound like God to me either. And it's not the God that I worship. Are wars? Must you have wars all the time? Not according to Jasara. We're not going to have any wars. There's no reason to have wars. I agree. I agree. I hate to admit it because it's not, doesn't toe the religious line that I was living within for 25 years. But a lot of things that God does in the Bible does not sound like God to me. Like, why wouldn't he let Moses go into the promised land? Because he hit a rock? I'm like, who wouldn't hit a rock? I don't know. Anyway, let them clean up their own act. Yeah, you're right. And it's not my business to go and tell people not to be religious. I'm not saying that. I think religion is a beautiful thing. I enjoy being in the community. I enjoy having a fellowship that worships, that talks about the divine and not just how many beans they own or what kind of car they drive. We're coming into the promised land, and everything is really good. I'm just saying, my question tonight, and it'll be a different question tomorrow night. I don't know. I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth. And I have to confess, when I sat down at the microphone and Daniela said, "You really got to start soon," I was thinking to myself, I don't know. I don't really, I don't, and it seems like the nights that I really have no clue what I'm talking about, what I want to talk about, are the best nights. But Ishmael Perez said, housing, like, I was asking him, like, will they be modern? Will they be colonial? Will they be, I was like looking for the style, and he just said, it's a creative process, your house. So I read somewhere that that advanced beings live in a very simple in simple dwellings in nature, and they have advanced technology. That sounds like a recipe for living a good life. It's so beautiful out here. It's just to work in the sunshine, to wake up in the morning, and I don't know. Would I want to go back to the Matrix? No, I can't. I can't go back. There's no way I can forget what I know. There's no way you can unsee what you've seen. But anyway, I think we're really heading for the promised land. It was my theory on the 10 days of darkness. Yeah, I just I thought it would be using the television to educate these people. Right, that's the 10 days of darkness. I question that. I mean, I mean, I'm seeing really advanced people do stupid shit, and like, just like, all the evidence is there, and they're just like, well, I'm just too afraid to do it. I'm shocked. It shocked me. Something happened today. I was just like, are you serious? Um, but people have their reasons, and people have their learning curve and everything else. I can't just tell people, just, you know, quit your job and go come out, you know, live out on the desert with the rest, with me and Daniela. I'm not able to offer that yet. I may be someday. I may be able to offer, like, an educational community of sorts where people can come and just hang and live and not worry about the rent, the car payment, the any of that stuff, their health, because they'll be living in the sunshine, even with the chemtrails. They were right overhead tonight today. I was just like, "Are you guys, really? Is this a personal thing?" I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, it's all good. Someone, I don't know how many. Yeah, it's pretty weird. The Romans played. Yeah, well, the Romans are still in control. This is the Romans. I thought they would be using the television to educate these people. Right. Yeah, I mean, that's what they want us to believe, that there's going to be 10 days of darkness and they're going to show these movies. I don't think that's going to have any effect on these people. I don't think that's going to undo years and years, a lifetime of brainwashing. I think people have to discover it for themselves. And I think that's what the White Hats are doing. So there's some guys on Mr. Poole and some of his buddies. They're constantly saying the XRP, the QFS is all in line, and the XRP is, and everything's, on course. And the EBS is coming next week. There'll be 10 days of darkness. They've been saying that, like Sherry, that this woman Sherry has been saying for years. And Mark Z, a lot of people are saying it's coming next week for 5 years. I don't think that's responsible. I think at some point you have to ask yourself, well, I've been telling people for 5 years that the dinars are about to be reevaluated this week. At some point you have to say to yourself, well, maybe I'm misleading the people, or maybe they're doing it on purpose. I don't know. But I think that whenever you're ready to leave the matrix and come into the promised land, the doors will be open. You just have to make the move. You just have to act. And you know, I did everything against the book. I didn't, I just went. I just left. Oh, was I worried about my 401k? Should I have done it? Should I have rolled it over into gold? And, should I? No, I wanted to get the fuck out of New York. I don't care. I was like, I'm out of here. I got to get out of here now. I understood that if I hung around there, from past experiences, like when I was 19 and I dropped out of college, I wanted to go to Nashville to become a songwriter, to work on songwriting and to play banjo. I was a banjo player then. It took me forever to leave my mom and dad's house because it was so cushy there. I had a nice life there. I was drinking a lot of alcohol. I was taking drugs and everything else. But at some point, I said, I gotta go. I just have to go to Nashville. And I got on a bus at 19 and I went to Nashville. And I lived there for a couple of years. I went to Mom's boarding house on Music Row, and I lived in Mom's boarding house for I don't know, a couple of months at least. And all the songwriters were there, and we had tape recorders, and you could go down Music Row, and RCA had an open door. You'd go in and you'd play their song, and they'd be like, "Yeah, I like this one. I like the one you did last week too. And keep coming, keep bringing me your songs." And that from there, I ended up moving into the country with some hillbillies, and I had a great time. But yeah, but the point is that, like, sometimes, I mean, the Rebbe said we'll be walking out of Gullus, like we won't have to run. But I personally knew that I had to run from my own doubt. That once I made the decision to leave New York, I had to leave New York, whether it was reasonable or not. I got ripped off on all the cars. I lost all my silver and all that stuff. It doesn't matter. I got out of New York. That was the goal. Okay, so I did it, and I moved on to this land, and the rest is history. Will I have issues in the future? Of course. Will XRP go to the moon? Of course. Will it go to the moon next week? I don't know. It should. Will it? I don't know. I expected XRP to go to the moon 5 years ago when I had 300,000 of them. I was like, I'm set, man. I'm a whale. I traded my 401k for a bunch of XRP 5 years ago, and then I got scammed. I can blame it on Coinbase, but it was my own damn fault. I trusted. I didn't know. I was scared. If you're scared, you're going to make stupid mistakes. I'm not scared anymore that way. I don't live in a state of fear. I lived in New York City in a state of fear where I was treated by the administrators in my various schools that they'd put me in to try to hide me from the world, that, I was never safe. That at any moment the people could come in with the clipboards. I had this one AP, that he just they all tried to take me out, and I was saved for 20 years. There were administrators trying to take me out on a constant basis. And every time, right before they were about to remove me from the system, something would happen. I'd get transferred, they'd get fired. I mean, this happened for 20 years. So I learned over time to just trust the process. That even though the matrix says you're about to get fired, they're not in control. The divine forces and the divine intuition. Anyway, so yeah, I spoke to a lot. I said a lot of stuff. Happy full moon. Hey, Richard. Hey, Wade. Hey, everybody. According to, so there's a armada heading to Earth, and Trump's Golden Dome is coming to the Earth's protection. What are your thoughts? Yeah, it could be, but at the end of the day, it's all up to me. All these things on the outside of your world, all the things that could happen, that this could happen, that could happen, it's meaningless. What's happening here is what counts. And not just what's happening here, but what I do, what I actually do with my hands, what I actually do with my day, what I actually do with my relationship, what I eat, what patches I put on, what I do to secure my health in the midst of depopulation events going on over my head. It doesn't matter what what it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that the military is in control. It doesn't matter that some people are saying the EBS is coming. It doesn't matter that some people are saying the dinar is about to be reevaluated. What matters is what I do with my day, with my relationship, with my we don't eat. We fast all morning, and that's when I do my best work. Then I get a little bit weak, and we come in and we have a fruit salad. Then I go out and work some more. And then, this is on a good day when I don't have to go to town. And then, I might have to do a broadcast. But basically, what do I really want to do? I really want to go outside and do some more work and build my house, build a house that I design myself, that I base on the materials that the divine gives me. I don't have $100,000 today. I didn't, even if I had that much XRP back, if I had $1 million worth of XRP right now, I wouldn't trade it in for lumber or anything. I don't think so. I would wait for the divine to show me what. Once you get into the flow of divine reward, divine inspiration, divine progress, once you get on the road to living your life the way it should be lived, everything comes along at the right time. It took me months to be able to afford the materials just to pay for the pump for the well, but we did it. We spent a little. We bought the pipes one month, and then we saved up for a month, and we had to spend for the electric, for the these thick copper cords that are waterproof. But it came, and the boards. I just found I couldn't find a sawmill. I just found a sawmill. Couldn't find a tree. Everything. Once you're on flow. You're into the unfolding of your desires, of your purpose on earth. Things seem to manifest pretty nicely. I used to be more ignorant, but now I am more wiser. Okay. Well said. I don't know if I'm wise. I'm just making the best of a really interesting situation. A ray of sunshine. Yeah. Do Christians realize that the letter J was not invented or used until the 1400s? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't even want to go there. The idea of somebody dying for your sins. I mean, really? I got a free pass now. I mean, I, first of all, I don't even accept the idea that humans are by nature sinners. I don't accept any of that. Wanting to be in a loving relationship, that's sin, the original sin. To want to be with to be with your wife, that's sinning. To want to eat of the tree of knowledge, that's sinning. That's not sinning. That's beauty. That's Tiferes, if you know Kabbalah. Tiferes is the central sphirot. And what is Tiferes? Tiferes means beauty. It combines all other aspects of manifestation into one blaze of multicolored, kaleidoscopic intent. But he lives within many of us. That could be. Listen, if he lives within you, he lives within you. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, I'm not saying Christianity is bad. It's a beautiful thing to love someone as a god. They have the same thing in Judaism. You love your Rebbe. They have it. You love the Ahmadi. You love the Mashiach. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just it doesn't work for me. personally. So I'm not saying you should think like me. If you believe in Jesus, that's a beautiful thing. I mean, that there's no J in Hebrew, you have to grapple with these things. Most people in the comment section today were at a soul port, kind of like an airport or training session before we volunteered to be here to help others on this timeline. Yeah, I think so. I think we've all been. You wouldn't be on. Listen, you wouldn't be on this channel if you weren't a star seed or an incarnation or something other than like just a regular normie. Pray for Ellie and you and me too. Yeah, but we don't need to pray. We can just be. Why can't the Carl on the Rumble channel, Carl Magic Eyes, Magic Eyes, says that the Majestic 12 calls us Isbe, meaning is. I am here. I am here now. That's what Ram Dass says. Be here now. Just be here now. Stay out of the fear. Stay out of the indoctrination. Stay out of the shame. Stay out of the guilt. Stay out of the, I made a bunch of poor choices. I'm a bad person. Just stay away from all that thinking and just exist. You don't have to harm anyone in the future. You can just be. Be. We are the new normal. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, I hope I haven't I've offended too many people tonight, but I don't mean to offend anyone. I'm just thinking these things through. What is good is not usually normal, but what is normal is not often good. I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. What I always used to say was like, that being crazy is good, and if you're not crazy, you're really crazy. Something like that. Okay, so anyway, let's play the tune. I think the tune kind of says it all. We could do the does anyone have a strong feeling we could do? Let's do Language of the Heart, because I think that's a good night for that kind of vibe. I surrender in the courtyard. I surrender on the street. I surrender my ambitions and the ways of deceit. Sweet surrender. Language of the heart. Sweet, sweet surrender. Language of the heart. I surrender to our new love on any path it takes. In the beauty of this moment, there are no mistakes. Sweet surrender. Language of the heart. Sweet, sweet surrender. Language of the heart. We all need to come together around the language of the heart. We all need to come together around the language of the heart. It's an easy decision, don't you know you're a musician? We all need to sing together around the language of the heart. as a stone that I skip across the water on my gentle journey home. Sweet journey home, sweet journey home, sweet, sweet journey home, sweet journey home. We all need to come together. We all need to come together. We all need to share together round the language of the heart. It's an easy decision, don't you know you're a musician? We all need to be together. We all need to sing together. We all need to dance together round the language of the heart. We all need to feel together. We all need to dream together. We all need to know together the language of the heart. Yeah, the language of the heart. So, yeah, I agree with you, Anton. I think it should be. I mean, originally it's as easy as fishing. Don't you know you're a magician? I probably should go back to those lyrics. I just, the song is already done, but for now. But yeah, you're right. It really is. I mean, I was afraid to use the word magician because it's kind of frowned upon in the Orthodox world, and I was still a little bit afraid, I guess. But you're right. We're all magicians. And it's okay. It's just like in the tarot deck. I was taught people are shocked that I know about tarot, but that's how I got into Kabbalah in the first place. But the tarot deck, the number one card is the magician, and he's also the fool, and he's also the wise man. It all goes together, right? Anyway, yeah. So yeah, love is it. Yeah, thanks, Anton. Yeah, I appreciate you being here. Someday, man, someday maybe I'll go to Alabama, though it's too dangerous for me. The things I can't do in the South anymore. But yeah, it's as easy as fishing. Don't you know you're a magician? It's a manifestation. I got into it last night about somebody who said, d- just don't focus on the chemtrails so much. You're right, but maybe I'm not that good. Maybe I'm not really a magician that I can. I don't seem to have the power to erase the chemtrails. Maybe we should. Maybe we can muster the power. I don't know. At any rate, may the force be with you. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Thanks for supporting us with LifeWave. Thanks for supporting yourself. The main thing is just to be you. Is be. We are is bees. What does that mean? I don't know. Are asteroids coming to save us? I don't think so. I think this is a free will universe, and I think it's up to each and every one of us to manifest your dreams. And don't wait to be saved. Don't wait for the EBS. The fool is always the wise man. Yeah. You're always well in Cooksville, Tennessee. Oh, I love Cooksville. I think Cooksville. I don't think that's not, I'm thinking of Clarksville, but I used to live near Clarksville, but Cooksville, I don't know. I love Tennessee, but I don't want to say this, but I hear Southern drawls, and my heart just, it's not it's not a good place for me. Anyway, all should be well, and you know, may the force be with you. The force, I like calling it the force better than God. God has a bad name these days, but may the force be with you. May source be with you. And again, thanks for being here, and thanks for being you. That's the main thing, is just to be you. So Let's get out there with a big smile on our face and rock the world.